6 months ago, building custom software felt like trying to access a private club with a massive cover charge. If your business had a workflow worth automating, you had to pay the toll. You hired an agency, you paid $150 to $200 an hour, you sat through 3 months of discovery meetings, and you were $100,000 in the hole before you ever saw a working button. Now, the math is broken. Vibe coding allows non-technical operators to build those same tools using AI, entirely bypassing those upfront capital requirements. But this has created a lot of noise. Business leaders are looking at AI tools and wondering if they are playing with a disposable toy, or if they can actually replace a dev team. Let's look at the actual numbers. In this video, we are comparing a real 2-week scope of work built through a traditional agency contract versus the exact same build using vibe coding. Sinking 6 figures into a custom build is no longer a mandatory cost of doing business. It is a choice, and need to know exactly what you are buying before you decide. Let's take a standard B2B workflow, say automating client onboarding and syncing data between your CRM and billing software. A clear 2-week build. This chart breaks down the traditional contract. You pay for discovery, the hourly build rate, and QA testing. But when vibe coding that exact scope, the budget collapses. The capital dedicated to the hourly build simply disappears. That money doesn't vanish into thin air. It is saved because the burden of defining the business logic shifts. You, the operator, are telling the AI how the business works directly, cutting out the agency middleman. The trade-off is that the agency premium buys you a dedicated project manager, guaranteed structural certainty, and worry-free execution. But when you see the cost difference on paper, it becomes clear. Defaulting to an expensive developer to build standard workflow logic is an unnecessary financial risk. Cost isn't everything, though. We have to talk about capability. Vibe coding excels at standard applications, creating, reading, updating, and deleting records in a database. This quadrant chart plots code complexity against bespoke architecture. Standard workflows live safely in the bottom left, but novel algorithms enter edge case territory. This warning zone illustrates a serious threat. Relying on raw AI output here generates tangled spaghetti code. When operators lack architectural discipline, they might save $80,000 upfront, only to spend it all unpicking technical debt 6 months later. Without a foundational plan, the software might look fine on day one, but it will eventually buckle under the pressure of real-world business operations. You still need an architectural plan, no matter how fast the AI writes the code. You have to balance extreme speed with human foresight. A lot of the failures we see happen because businesses try to build enterprise-grade software using consumer AI chat tools. They treat a prototype engine like a production environment. This is why platforms like Abacus exist. Abacus provides a structured environment engineered specifically for production-level reliability, replacing the open text box of a chatbot with a framework that handles complexity. This diagram shows how that works. Instead of hoping the AI writes good logic, a rigid platform structurally enforces the architectural discipline that raw language models lack. The required trade-off here is your time. To get that reliability, you have to actually learn the platform's ecosystem instead of just typing out vague prompts. To avoid catastrophic failures in production, you have to anchor your build in a rigid platform, rather than throwing on a wall and hoping it sticks. So how do you make the call for your next build? We use this decision tree to strip the emotion out of the process. Let's say you're an enterprise scale-up, handling sensitive, personally identifiable information, strict compliance laws, and deeply integrated legacy tech. In that scenario, paying the 6-figure developer premium makes sense. You aren't just buying code, you are buying an insurance policy against systemic risk. Now let's look at a B2B operator who just needs to automate clear, repetitive tasks. Your logic is standard and you need speed. For this path, vibe coding is the logical choice. It validates the utility of the tool while preserving your capital for when you actually scale. The data points to a clear conclusion. For the vast majority of standard operations, signing an expensive dev contract is no longer the correct first move. If you want to see exactly how these numbers map to your business, hit the links in the description. You can explore the Vibe Coding platform, or book a discovery call with us to evaluate your specific math. Match the build method to your actual operational reality. You can finally iterate and automate without sinking $100,000 into an unproven idea.
AI coding tools just dropped the cost of custom software by 90%. Most B2B operators haven't noticed. I'm Steven, founder of Brandyard. We build production-grade AI tools for B2B operators, quote, engines, billing automation, internal dashboards, work that used to require a 6-month dev contract ships in a week. If you've ever said we should just build that ourselves, book a discovery call at brandyard.net/vibe-coding.